Cyber Warriors. Came up with an idea of a video from our training from yesterday, and that was looking at scheduled tasks and how to get the information. So we work exclusively with the DOS version of that, and it's kind of clunky. It requires a lot of manual interpretation, and I just know that there's a better way to do this in PowerShell. So let's get right to it. So let's look at some scheduled tasks, shall we? So the DOS command for running the scheduled task is schtasks, plural, and it dumps a whole bunch of information. Now, we probably want to make this verbose, so we're going to clear the screen first, and we're going to do /v for verbose, and then /fo for format of the output, and we're going to call a list. Right? Oh my goodness, ton of stuff. So let's clear this again, and this time we're going to pipe it to more, just so we can get just one page of information. Should take just a little bit because it wants to grab everything, and then it'll display just one page. So quick little coffee break. All right, so here we have all of the scheduled tasks or scheduled task information that's available for us. Generally, what we want to do is look for scheduled tasks that occur within the last 24 hours or are going to occur in the next few hours, right? So we're looking specifically at the next runtime, which is right here. Now we can look for that specifically by searching for the next runtime. So we can do that either using find string, where we're looking for next runtime, again, it's going to take a while because it populates everything, and then it's going to do that. Ooh, hello. How did you not work properly? Probably because it doesn't like find string in the PowerShell. So that's right. So there is an option we can use in PowerShell, which is select string. Because unlike running, so this is the DOS command for scheduled task. So this is coming back not as an object, as PowerShell likes to work with, but a series of strings. So we have to look for those strings. So we're going to do that, and we're going to tell it this is our pattern. And now it provides a whole bunch of not much of use. So how to make that a bit more available in the clear context for us, right? So what we can do is provide additional context. So when we're searching for a string using select string, we can search for before and after. So if we remember what we had before, the next runtime came directly below the task name, which is great because we don't have to collect a whole bunch of extra information. So what we can do is provide a context of we want the line before the match, and let's do the line after the match, right? So this is in context to your match, right? So if your match is here, we want the line above, and then we're going to also get the line below. And that's what this will do for us. All right, so we see that we have, there's the match because it points it out to us, right? So this is the match. Here's our task name, and there's the status because it's ready. Now, if we don't want the status, that's fine. We can actually just change our context to 1 and 0. it condenses the information for us considerably, right? So here we have just the task name and the next runtime, which is great, but it's still a lot of information. There's a ton of stuff. And you'll see there's a whole bunch of NAs. We don't want to see the NAs, right? Because there's nothing available. It may not be enabled. The task may be disabled. There's a ton of other things that could be around there. But searching for it as a string, while we can do it, still limits our ability to do much. But that's okay because, believe it or not, there's actually a scheduled task command in PowerShell. So let's take a look at that. So that is get scheduled task. And since there's so many, we're only going to do the first one. So select object, first one, boom. There's not a lot of information there. So let's expand that. Tell it we want property of everything. So now we have more information. But what's missing from this? So we have the author, we've got author, we've got the date, description, we have the task name, which is important. We have the task path, which is important to have, but we don't have the last runtime and the next runtime. That's because it's broken up into another command. So just like we had to enrich our netstat information with TCP net connection, we have to go back and look for additional information from a different command. So we have to enrich it. And that other command is Get-ScheduleTaskInfo. And we have to give it a task name. And this is our task name, so we're going to grab that. But since it's more than one word, we have to do it in quotes. There is our last runtime and our next runtime and the task number of missed runs. So not a whole lot of additional information is available in this one, but just enough to where we can pull out the different things we want to look at. So how do we do that? Well, we have to call this, right? So remember how we did that in the past? Maybe not. So let's go ahead and do this again. So what we're going to do is we're going to test it with just one. So our command to get just one of those, and the property we're going to be looking for is just the task name, state, and then we're going to cast over to ScheduleTaskInfo to get this next little bit. So we're going to do an @ symbol, squirrely brace, we're going to give it a name, and the name is going to be next runtime, because that's the name that already exists right up here. Makes it easy for us. Okay, and then we need to tell it it is an expression. And that expression is in the squirrely brace, but we need to have the parentheses get scheduled task info. We're going to give it by the task name, and remember this is our in loop variable, if you will. So this will be task name, and we're looking for the next runtime. So next runtime, and we end the squirrely brace, and that ends the expression, and this ends the new object that we're adding to it. Other additional information we're going to want to know is the author, and we also want the task path. Just very quick, boom, in, out. It gives us all of the relevant bits of information we need for this particular operation. You probably want to add some additional fields from both the task info, and then I would also add the last runtime, but for the sake of keeping this video fairly short, we're just going to do this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cast it into a variable and show you what you can do with the variable once you have it created. Okay, so we're going to grab this, and we're going to call it scheduled tasks. And instead of just the first one, we're going to grab all of them. And that should work. It'll take a little bit. Just a quick little coffee break. Because IT guys and Kilt guys function on coffee. All right, here we go. So now we have our variable that's created. And that variable is this. So we're just going to grab that. Select first one. Boom. So it looks a lot like that other one. So let's grab the first two just to see that we got more than one. Excellent. Now, one of the great things that we could do is take a look at anything that's ran in the last 12 hours or has been available to run in the last 12 hours. So we're going to grab the scheduled task. Instead of select, we're going to go to where object next run time is greater than or equal to get date add hours. Let's just go back 12 hours. Those are all the different tasks that have a scheduled run time of within the last 12 hours or in the future. So anything that's going to happen from 12 hours to the immediate future. This is great. This narrows it down to the bunch of running tasks that are going to be affecting our system today. Or we can even do, instead of add hours for the last 12 hours, let's actually just do add days. And we're going to do -1 for anything for the last 24 hours. So you see the list is a little bit longer. Not a whole lot, but a little. And that can make all the difference in the world. And this tells you everything that's going to be running and affecting your system today. Now, it's up to you to figure out what to do with this. But I just wanted to show you, because this came up as part of our training that we did locally about scheduled tasks, looking at that. And this is a really good way to pare the information down to something that is a lot easier to work with. All right, Cyber Warriors, what did we learn? We learned in this one how to enrich our information for getting the scheduled task information and how to manipulate that as objects as opposed to strings. So it makes it a lot easier to work within PowerShell using the objects, because we can contextualize information better than we can as a string. Now, it is possible that we can do some of those things with select string, but it is a lot more challenging to work with. So it's always better to work with objects and create those as objects, and you can throw that scheduled task thing directly into a script so that you can have that available for you to peruse, even push into a text file you could manually look through if you want. There's a number of different things you can do with it. for always. I hope you learned something. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video.